Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be looking at the new products from Aquario. Previously in the channel we have looked at the version 1s of the Neo Flow pipes. This here is the version 2s. Aquario have took a lot of the feedback on board with the version 1s, and they have fixed a few things. So let's have a look at the products, talk about what they've fixed, the differences between the new and the old, and see them in action. So let's have a little rundown of all the products I've got to have a look at today. We've obviously got the version 2 premium pipe work set. This one is the large version. I've actually already unboxed the medium version, set up on my tanks, so we'll have a look at that later. But it's basically very, very similar to the previous version 2s, there's just a few adjustments being made. Let's look at some of the other products though. Maybe not as new of a product as the rest of this stuff, but I, as you probably seen in my last video, have looked at the Air Diffusers, and we're talking about how oxygen can help the tank. If you haven't checked out that video, go check it out. But I've asked for some Neo Air Diffusers, and Aquario do provide some Air Diffusers, which I think is really neat. So they sent me some of these, I was really, really happy to try them out. These little two boxes are just an improvement on what was made previously. We've got the Neo Skimmer, which is an updated version 2, and also the Neo Holder, which is a bit more robust. And we'll have a look at that more in detail in a minute. Two new products to the lineup would be these two right here. We've got an inlet, so it's for baby shrimp and baby fish, I suppose. There's 400 tiny little perforated holes, and these are safe for little baby shrimp and fish, obviously. The other product here is it's called the Neo Mixer, but it's a new product that has a built-in diffuser, CO2 diffuser. I think this is probably one of the best products I've seen on the market for a very long time. It's one of the most innovative products definitely out there. So basically you've got your pipes, and on the outlet, just on the very last part of the outlet, they've actually put in one of their little Neo diffusers, one of their tiny diffusers. And so this will work as similar to an inline diffuser, with the benefit that you don't have to cut your tubing, and it's all in the outlet pipe. Aquario have sent me a document with some of the features and some of the improvements they've been made. So I'll be going through this. Some of the things they've actually pointed out to summarize its features is that the controlling of the skimmer is much easier control, the skimming strength. The floating parts, they float better, and it works more stably apparently. And it also says that it works up with a water change level. If your water is evaporating in an open top tank, you can actually use up to 25 millimeters if the water drops, whereas the previous version 1s were only 10 millimeters. And even at that, I found it to be very finicky, very irritating sometimes. So it kind of stopped me from using it in many cases. The document goes on to tell us what's changed, the dimensions of the little parts that have changed. I won't go through everything, but we can see, not sure if you can see, but there's a lot of dimensions being changed. So that's really, really promising that they've took on board some of the feedback. I think we should just go ahead and open one of the boxes. This is the Neo Flow, just the pipe work set, the premium pipe work set. So as soon as we open the box, we're greeted by a sort of document here, and it tells us the precautions to take, what not to do, what to do, and how to adjust everything, how to adjust the skimming portion, which I think is quite important because I believe a lot of people had a lot of queries on how you were actually meant to adjust the skimmer. In the sleeve here we have two pipes, we have two of the new holders, we have an outlet, so the little U-bend outlet thing, we have an inlet guard, not the shrimp guard, it's just the original one. And we have a mix, what would you call it, Neo reliever, which is the spin pipe with the two attachments that you can put on at the edges if you want to reduce the flow of the outlet. We've got and your skimmer at the bottom here, which is super interesting. Really looking forward to having a look at it with you guys. for the sake of covering everything, let's have a look at how everything works. So we've got our inlet pipe here, and you can do this any way you want. This could be your inlet, or you could do it this way, it doesn't really matter. But that just simply goes on like this. And for cleaning, it's so much easier than using the generic pipes or even metal pipes. And you can just pull little sections of it apart and clean it that way. So I really like that about it. And obviously, these pipes are all really bendy, just like the previous versions. You're not gonna break these basically, or at least you'd have to really try to break them. The new Neo holders have a new material being used. I'll just check what material it is because it's not the same material as previously done. So after reading the document, it says the material is being replaced with polycarbonate, and it's a much thicker material. Sorry, it's a much thicker piece of plastic than previously used in the version 1s. This was the piece, the bit that wrapped around the pipe was the bit that was cracking on my version 1s. So it seems like they've just really made it robust, and I don't think I'm going to have any issues with this. Another change they've made is to the little tabs. It looks a bit different, and they've made it a bit longer so it's easier to adjust. I think this is much easier to adjust than the other versions, because by hand it was a bit difficult with the version 1s. The skimming portion we have here works very similar to the last version. You know, if you use the instructions, it shouldn't be too difficult. So we've got 3 parts. We've got the bottom piece, the kind of like tube that goes vertically, and then your little skimming portion at the top. The differences being that this seems much larger than the previous skimming portion, and also these vertical pieces are much longer. So it comes with actually a longer, like a skimming piece, a longer vertical piece. And actually, there's two options, I think, to use for this vertical piece. They give you a shorter one and a longer vertical piece, just in case you want to have the pipe lower, I suppose. So it's really nice that they give you that option. The last pieces in this pipework set are obviously the Neo reliever, exactly the same as the previous versions, where you have this kind of spin pipe, and you have these relieving sections that you can push onto the side that reduces the flow even further. The last piece being this little tiny U-bend thing that allows you to direct the direction of the flow out of your pipes. So that's the full set of pipes right there. There's a lot of different features to it, but I do have a few extra attachments to talk about. First, let's look at this little inlet pipe for the shrimp and the small fish. As soon as I get this little thing open. So, if the camera focuses, we've got all these 400 apparently little holes in here. They are very small, so I'm very confident that the shrimp and the baby fish will not get in here. I think this was a very much needed product, as I can't really use the other inlet guards with my shrimp or with even some of my fish. I've actually had one of my fish, or maybe 2 of my fish, die by getting sucked into pipes before. So something like this is a lifesaver for your livestock. The last piece of equipment I want to be looking at is the diffuser, the air diffuser that they sent me. So this is unlike, it's very similar to their CO2 diffusers, but this one is specifically made for an air pump. If you want to be adding air at night time, adding oxygen to the tank, it's really beneficial. And once again, you can go check out my other video I made about adding oxygen to a planted aquarium. So in this little package, they give you your air diffuser right there. It comes in an acrylic tube, which is pretty cool. They also give you a little packet with some extra suction cups, also a U-bend to go over the top of your aquarium. I think that's a really neat thing to add in there for free. It makes it so much cleaner and better looking overall when you're adding any sort of diffusers or air diffusers, for example, for this one. So thumbs up to Aquario for including that. So I've set these products up on one of my tanks last night. So I've had a small amount of experience with them, and we'll go ahead and check them out right now. So I've actually just recently set up a new tank, and I put these pipes on last night. So as we can see here, we've got the skimmer So it's obviously skimming the top portion of the tank, and it's actually working really, really well. I don't have any issues, or haven't had any issues with it yet, and I think that if the water dropped, I'd be pretty comfortable in saying that it would still work. We've also got the tiny little Aquario Neo diffuser in there, the CO2 diffuser, and it's on right now. You can't really see any bubbles, but if you really did look closely, you could see a small mist being passed around the tank by the pipes. So I'm really hopeful, or it looks really promising. This product, yeah, I'm very, very impressed. It's very innovative and yeah, brilliant. So behind it we can obviously see the inlet, and it's working well. What can I say? My fish haven't been sucked in, so it's doing the job it is meant to. And I think it looks great as well, it being acrylic and kind of see-through, transparent. The little diffuser here has to have an inline, obviously an inline of CO2 running to it. So behind here I've got a CO2 pipe coming from my regulator down into the diffuser on the other side of here. And I think it's quite neat, although I do find that wrapping this around here doesn't look the best. Maybe something could be done about maybe a little bracket extra for the CO2 line. I don't know if there's a way that people like to place this and maybe somehow fix it to the bracket, or if they can do something about that, or even just like a little U-bend. I haven't quite figured it out yet. It doesn't look bad though. It looks pretty clean. It's a very clean looking setup right now as it is, but I do think that that could be obviously improved right there. Anyway, so back to the air diffuser. We've got the air diffuser running right here, and I think I've talked about this in my previous video, but air diffuser comes with this little tiny, what would you call it, a little U-bend, which actually might be useful for the CO2 over there, something like that to be included might actually be quite neat. But anyway, yeah, so we've got the air diffuser right there. It's working well, and quite happy with it. The pipes are creating quite a nice amount of surface agitation. I think I would quite like to see a lily pipe attachment for this one right here. I feel like that would be really useful. So if Aquario could, if they're watching this, a lily pipe attachment would be really, really useful. I think people would be super interested in something like that. Obviously, you might not be able to use it with the skimmer, but being a lily pipe, it will create that vortex at the top of the water. If it could be used attached onto this inlet just after the diffuser, it would be really useful. I think people would be really, really interested in some product like that. I really hope you've enjoyed looking at some of these products with me. I'm really excited about especially the little diffuser, CO2 diffuser plugged into the outlet pipe. I think that's so neat. And I love that they've taken on board, Aquario have taken on board some of the feedback and improving their version 2s. Such a better product. Even though the version 1s were a brilliant product, very, very unique. And I think the market really needs something like this, as it's not on the market, some unbreakable, bendy acrylic pipe. I think it's brilliant, brilliant design. So I'm really, really looking forward to trying these for the foreseeable future. And I'll let you know sometime how it goes. And if you want to check any updates about these pipes and how it's going for me, then head over to my Instagram page. I'll be posting regular updates about the pipes and my tanks and everything else. So I'll see you over there, guys. But thank you for watching the video. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.